Citizens of the Republic, hello and welcome to RG Pulse, the weekly show where we dive into all things tech and gaming. What's happening?
Yeah,
nothing. I couldn't hear you for a sec, but I can hear you now. You're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first few seconds.
Really? That's interesting. I wonder. Anyways, I'm glad you can hear me because you guys were muted for that first moment. But hi guys, welcome to the show. We have a old familiar face that we haven't seen in quite some time. Sascha joining us here in the show. Sascha, welcome.
Hey, long time.
So you were just trashing Elden Ring because you're.
This is not the show to trash Elden Ring, Sascha.
Because you're bad at video games. Is that why? What is like what?
Yeah. Someone at HQ told me Sascha needs to get good. Is that what they said?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I keep hearing
really
that.
Bad.
Yeah. No. I was just joking. Trying to direct all flaming towards me, so you guys don't get any.
Oh,
because
nice.
I heard some things about Jake playing Elden Ring
because I'm really good at it. Right? People are always asking me.
Right.
They want to know my items I'm using. They're like, because I play such a unique play style. So good at the game. Yeah, that must be it.
Right.
Yep, I'm sure that's exactly what it is. It's a good thing that no one has seen me play it because it would be sad.
Well, you're just doing mage cheese, right?
And even with the mage cheese, I almost rage quit the other night. That what's in it? The Crucible Knight almost just destroyed me.
Yeah.
Mentally
he's
and
tough.
emotionally. He's a great big jerk.
Josh M on YouTube is asking about Duo 16 release date. I think we kind of have one ish.
We have I was told literally not 1 hour ago that the Duo would likely be available in the US April or May. We don't have an exact date yet, but we have a time frame, and that's more than we've had so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's soon. That's very exciting. Jake is going to be getting one. There is one en route to Jake's house right now. So
look at his fingers.
I know.
He's
so
going
excited.
So that basically means that next week we'll probably be doing an unboxing, or very soon we'll be doing an unboxing of a Duo. But
yes. So hit the follow button.
Yeah.
Come back. We will be unboxing the Duo hopefully very soon. Probably on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, the unboxing may not happen on YouTube, so follow us on Twitch so you don't miss it.
We do a lot more live streaming on Twitch. That's kind of like our main platform. And we did recently do unboxings of the Z13, the M16, the Scar 15, Scar 17, G14. Like we unboxed
two
G14s, a tough A15. We unboxed that.
Yeah, we did.
Kunai, like tons of stuff recently. So there's been a lot of fun stuff going on there. Party at Jake's house. Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm primed for a LAN party right now, like the best LAN party you could ever have. Whitson, what's good? How's your Elden Ring adventure?
Well, apart from the Crucible Knight tearing up the fabric of my soul, it's going well.
Not very convincing.
Hey, you know what? I've made it farther than I 2 weeks ago. I was like, "There's no way I'm going to buy that game. You got to be kidding me!" And now I'm like totally addicted to it. So
it was really funny because you were you went from like I'm not going to play it. I'm too busy. My backlog's too big. To I'm starting to think about playing it. To Whitson Gordon has entered Elden Ring is like in my corner of my screen.
I'm like, I'll just be playing it for the next 6 months probably.
And within forever. This was like within a few days, right? You did like a 180.
So I went out with a friend, and he was telling me like it's basically a modern day Morrowind, and that just those words like basically convinced me.
You were sold.
And honestly, Sascha, I see the skepticism on your face. I actually think he's right. Now that I've played it a bit, I get it because there is the sheer expansiveness and the sheer depth of the kind of RPG elements of the gameplay are very Morrowind. And the idea of like the thing that's cool about Elden Ring is that because of the open world, and because it's like so difficult, it lends itself to this hunting for good gear or like hunting for a good spot to farm experience. And then you tell your friends about it and you're like, oh no, dude, you got to go to this cave and get this sword. Or this almost like playground talk that we used to have like in elementary school, right? Like you'd find something cool in a game and come tell all your friends about it. Like back in the days of paper strategy guides before YouTube. And Morrowind was similar in a way to me. Like the thing with Morrowind was like you would just try to cheese the game, right? And Elden Ring, while it's not so cheesy, it still has an element of that like, oh, dude, I found this great gear here that you got to go find. It'll make the game easier. Like, oh, if you want to fight that boss, you should fight this boss first.
The other thing I love about it is it's not just like there's a clear best item. Like a lot of people are playing their own way. They're finding a weapon that they're personally falling in love with, where it's not necessarily like mathematically this is the best item.
There's not such a clearly defined meta,
which is really nice for a fresh game. And this is not something that you necessarily get in games too often nowadays, especially
you don't see it very
because
much.
this is like a new IP and everyone's just kind of figuring it out together. A few questions in chat. Deb asks, or Andy the Lab, Jake, have you defeated the jailer yet? I don't know. I don't recall an enemy called the jailer.
Then you definitely haven't.
Probably not. I mean, I've killed so many bosses.
He would be haunting your nightmares.
Maybe. I mean,
you
maybe.
would know. You would know.
Deathwish is asking, where did you get that RG T-shirt? That's an older shirt. It's not new. I think that's an old school.
But I think it's gone.
Which one? This one?
Sasha's T-shirt. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, we have a ton of these in HQ. So if you guys want, I can check if we can send you some as well.
Yeah,
I think we did those 2 or 3 years ago. I think Computex
hooked me up. And then King Nemesis says super late stream. Yeah, we're gonna be streaming later a few times in the next couple months because we're bringing in Sascha to show off some cool stuff. Sasha's on the other side of the planet, so
the world be big. Time zones be vast.
Dude, I'm trying to put together a meeting with one person in the US, one person in Taiwan, and one person in the UK, and there is no time zone, or there's no time where all 3 of those time zones are awake.
Yeah.
So I'm just staying up till midnight.
That's nice of you, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm the low man on the totem pole, so I gotta do
the things we do. But
yep.
Anyways, we can.
In gaming news this week, speaking of open world games, that Jake is skeptical of, new Witcher game. The new Witcher game is coming. Yes.
You threw me for a curveball because there's no open world game to talk about. But new Witcher game. I actually, I'm not a Witcher fan. The control scheme never worked for me, but I gotta
use a gamepad.
I gotta try it on a controller. And I'm actually really excited. Like Elden Ring I've gone on the stream many times and talked about how I don't necessarily like single player RPGs that much, with a few standouts. Like I really like Mass Effect, right? There are games that do. Well,
Mass Effect is the greatest game of all time.
It's an incredible game. So, it really is. But I tend to have a hard time to really get pulled into these kind of open-ended worlds like Skyrim. Like I just never really fell in love with Skyrim, and Witcher falls in that category. But Elden Ring won me over, and now I'm like, all right, maybe I gotta try Witcher. Maybe I do. So
you should. But I'm very excited because I loved The Witcher 3 and The Witcher 2, and this one is going to be built in Unreal Engine 5, which is exciting. That means we'll see some really cool next gen stuff in terms of probably direct storage usage and just insane levels of graphical fidelity. I'm very, very excited. That's all we really know about it so far. We got a teaser image and a confirmation that it's under development. But that's enough.
A week ago, when we did Pulse, we did our show just before they did the State of Play event for Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy, which is it's really the first ever AAA Harry Potter game ever made. Now, we've seen like other little Harry Potter games come out from Portkey where they make like Wizards Unite, which is their Pokemon Go game, which they've already shut down actually. And other little.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it already got shut down, which is sad. My brother worked on that game for a while. He works at Bungie now, though. He's happy. But so we've seen little attempts, but this is like the full-fledged AAA big budget game, and I honestly do like the IP Harry Potter a lot more than most people do. I'm really quite a big fan, but I was still like, I don't know. I just didn't have a whole lot of faith. Like, I don't necessarily like the newer movies. I don't necessarily like any of the other stuff they've done since the original books existed. And it looks incredible. It's this vast open world. It's a fully single player game. No microtransactions. You pay $60. You own the game. Done deal. It looks like it's really going to have a lot of RPG elements where you get to craft your own playstyle between potions and fantastic beasts and all this stuff. Taming wild creatures, flying on broomsticks and hippogriffs across a big open world that looks insanely beautiful, and fully building out these locations that we know snippets of from the books and stuff, like the Forbidden Forest for us. Anyways, my Harry Potter nerd is leaking out
This
a
is
little
just so
bit
funny
much.
because 2 minutes ago, Jake was like, I don't really like single player open world RPGs. And then he's like, Elden Ring, Harry Potter.
I'm converting. I don't know. Something is changing in me. And it's like, for Harry Potter, though, it has this added benefit of have this picture in our head as a book reader of what this world is. And, you know,
you've already bought into the IP.
I've already bought into the
into the lore.
IP, but delivering the thing about the IP that's really interesting, there's a lot of stuff that they don't ever answer in the book. So the magic system doesn't really, there's no cost to using a spell. There's no mana. They don't ever talk about exhaustion from casting too many spells. It's never once ever referenced. It's just, you just use the spell and that's it. It's
wow, you sound a lot like Brandon Sanderson now.
Well, look, I am definitely into his world and his magic systems, and I think a lot about magic systems because of what Brandon Sanderson has how he's ravaged my brain with all these fantasy worlds. But still, it's a unique thing where this game is in a lot of ways going to be defining more about the Harry Potter IP than anything ever has since the books. So
very likely.
No, definitely it has to. Like if they're really
with a world that open, you can't not.
Yeah. So Jake is finally growing up. I know, right? Because my reflexes are going down. I'm getting worse at multiplayer games, and I'm just more like happier to sit on the couch and just enjoy a good story through a video game. It's true. Yep. I'm becoming an old man.
The gray hairs are growing in. I don't know if it's the toddlers or the Elden Ring bosses that are causing them to populate, but it's maybe both. Having toddlers is kind of like fighting an Elden Ring boss all day long. Sascha knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I'd rather fight with a toddler than grind through Elden Ring.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
I find it more rewarding, honestly.
I mean, that is true. It is, raising a child is, I would hope, more rewarding than playing a video game.
Yeah, if you do it right. If you do it right.
If you don't truly mess it up.
Toddler right now.
So the only tech news that really caught my eye this week that I wanted to bring up just briefly, it's not even necessarily ROG related, but Steam is coming to Chromebooks, and I am interested.
Wait. And it gets better because OBS is now on Steam.
And OBS is now on Steam.
So now you can stream from a Chromebook.
Games from a Chromebook.
Oh, I can't wait for the stats that show education levels. Yeah, no, you can see like average grades once Chromebooks can all.
Oh yeah, everyone's going to be at school with their Chromebooks playing games on them.
Right,
honestly,
working.
I have been a long time Chromebook user. As kind of like because I have like this big desktop, right? And so a lot of when I was working, if I wanted like a cheap knockaround laptop, Chromebooks are great for that. Yeah. And the whole family can use it because we can all just log in with our accounts. And I you could play Android games on them. You could like get Steam through like a Linux hack or whatever, and I've done that before. I've played games on it, but official support is pretty cool. Yeah. And I'll be curious to see what kind of gaming you can do on a Chromebook, and for a device that affordable, that's pretty cool.
And I mean, you can stream, right?
No
you can
ROG
stream via Steam as well. So if you have a gaming PC at home or a powerful laptop, you can then use the Chromebook to stream the game to the Chromebook. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to be I hope that it's going to be possible to have multiple instances, though I think probably in the beginning at least not. So basically, I could be on my laptop playing a game and streaming a different session of the same game to the Chromebook. But yeah, no, never mind. That's just me nerding out again, geeking out.
Yeah, that would be cool, but we'll see one day. Anyway, yeah, I'm just a Chromebook fan, so.
I've never used one in my life.
Oh, Asus makes some of the best Chromebooks.
Yep.
Out there.
Yeah.
Like, and I go check my history. I was saying that when I was a product reviewer. Like one of the Chromebooks we made was like the best one you could buy for like years.
Really?
It stood the test. I don't even know if we still sell it. We sold it for a long time, and it was just killer. It's you get some premium hardware with like just the right amount of like processing power and RAM behind a Chromebook, and you've got an expensive device that is very, very good for just daily computing. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about gaming, hardcore gaming.
So we do need to make this decision. Do we go ahead and do our giveaway early and get it out of the way, or do we hold it? We're going to do the giveaway early.
Get it out of the way.
If you would
snooze, you lose.
If you would like to participate in our giveaway, we're going to do it 10 minutes early. This is something that we do via Marbles on Stream. So if you want to partake, you need to be on Twitch. It's at twitch.tv/AsusROG. So ASUSROG. I'll type it in YouTube chat for you guys.
Dual IM says, I'm the only one who wants a new modern PS Vita. I could get behind that too, but there is one. It's called the ROG phone plus the kunai. Boom.
And to be able to join the Marbles on Stream session, you just need to type in Twitch chat !play whenever we start the session. Will be in just a moment. Yeah, the kunai is awesome, and I that's the kind of where I see the death of the Vita is if PlayStation made a Vita that was a phone. Now Sony makes phones, so I actually really am quite surprised that they never went that route because they're already producing phones. They're not a big player in the phone market.
I think it's because they're not a big player in the phone market and the Vita undersold, right?
Well, but they had. There's rumors that they had a prototype of like a,
I'm sure
like a phone.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Too bad it never came out. I mean, yeah.
Would have been cool.
It couldn't have been worse than
whatever. I'm still playing 3DS games, so what do I know? But now that I can stream Xbox Game Pass to my phone, my kunai gets here on Saturday. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm actually just going to stream Elden Ring to Steam Link on my ROG phone and play Elden Ring in bed. My wife will be falling asleep, and I'll just be sitting there swearing loudly.
It's not a bad idea, but as soon as I open that, pop that lid off that bottle, I'm done. It's game over. It's a really bad idea. I was hopelessly addicted to Hearthstone Battlegrounds for a long time, and I eventually mustered up the courage to uninstall it because I would wake up in the morning and just play for an hour before bed, play for an hour, and it was just this is not good for me. All right, so to join the Marbles on Stream giveaway, enter via Twitch chat by typing !play. This is for a chance to win a $20 voucher to gamesplanet.com. And we'll be picking one winner from this, and we'll do it once more later in the stream. And while we're speaking of giveaways, on Friday, we're doing a co-op session of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and we'll be giving away 3 copies of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And next week, we're giving away 3 copies of Ghostwire Tokyo. So these are all on Twitch. We don't do these streams on YouTube, purely on Twitch. So if you want to watch and want to tune in, it's 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, for all of our regular Twitch streams for about 3 hours. The stream goes on.
I'm excited for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. As someone who never got to play Borderlands co-op, I always wanted to, and I'm a big D&D guy, so this just seems like the perfect
fit. Yeah,
this is relevant to my interests.
Have you tried Risk of Rain 2?
Cade Nemesis, they're not going to be Steam codes, they're going to be Epic codes because
no, Tiny Tina's Epic, and the Steam key is for Ghostwire. So, but the
Steam key is for what?
The Steam key for Ghostwire Tokyo.
This
is 2 games. But ultimately, these are Games Planet vouchers. So the Games Planet voucher you redeem on Games Planet, and then you would get an Epic key, and you redeem on Games Planet for Ghostwire, and you get a Steam key.
Tonight is Games Planet voucher for whatever you want.
Yes.
Friday is a Games Planet voucher for Tiny Tina on Epic, and then a Games Planet voucher for Ghostwire Tokyo on Steam.
We have a partnership with Games Planet, if that wasn't obvious. We love them, and they're awesome.
Dude, Games Planet is dope. Games Planet, I have discovered, is the best place to buy games at launch.
Period.
Because they're always discounted 10 or 15%. And then with your ROG VIP account, you get another 5%. So yeah, I got Elden Ring for $48 or something.
And you still get them on Steam, right? Or on Epic. That's what I like about it. A lot of people are like, oh, but I already have Steam. I don't want something else. No. You do get the games on Steam.
It lives right on the launcher.
Buy them somewhere else.
Yeah, you have your Steam friend list, all that good stuff. It really is the best of any options. And having your ROG account does get you the additional percentage off. The one other question is, Deathwish says, so Sascha moved to Taiwan? Sascha's been in Taiwan for a long time. How many years, Sascha?
12?
14
years.
Okay, that's more than I thought. Wow.
14 years. Yeah.
I knew it was a minute, but okay. All right, we're going to start
quite a while.
Let me just...
And I still speak English, mostly.
It's a very English-friendly country?
Hell yeah, absolutely. I mean, the street signs are dual language, public
really?
transport, everything is dual language. The main stations, they even announce in Japanese, and like, yeah, it's very very
I'd feel
international.
right at home. Cool. All right. Good luck. Have fun, guys.
You'd feel right at home because of Japanese.
I mean, but I've spent time in Japan.
Jake's
so
a weeb.
I am.
Okay.
I watch a lot of anime with my wife, and she speaks
Weebo
Japanese fluently.
Alert. Yep.
She lived there
so Whitson, have you played Risk of Rain 2? Because you were saying Borderlands co-op.
I've never played Borderlands co-op, and I'm not even really familiar with Risk of Rain at all. I know the name, but I couldn't even tell you what genre of game it is.
It's a roguelike co-op first-person shooter, third-person shooter.
Interesting. Okay.
First-person shooter, yeah. And
I'm intrigued.
You would like it. So if you're into Borderlands co-op, I think you would definitely like Risk of Rain.
I'm not into Borderlands co-op because I've never had the opportunity to do it. I played Borderlands single player, and all my friends are like, "Nah, dude, you're doing it wrong. You got to play with friends. It's like the perfect
you
co-op
really
game."
do. It's
So I always wanted to, but by that point, I didn't have any friends that were playing it.
Oh my goodness, Galago just yeeted his way forward into first place.
Did one of the marbles get stuck there in the spinner?
Sometimes that happens. I mean, he's not stuck, but he's definitely slowed down. Galago 13.
Dude, way ahead of the game.
Yeah, he got yeeted in all the right ways.
That is a very complex map. Jeez. Somebody poured a lot of hours into this.
I know, right?
Come on, Deathwish. Deathwish and Galago.
Oh, there's
neck
two.
And neck.
Okay, Deathwish actually got up first because this... Oh, Tom 32D, Galago really was just enjoying the air a little bit too much. The top of that lift.
Come on, guys.
So about the Witcher Unreal Engine 5 thing.
That's the biggest news, I think, of the whole announcement.
I was disappointed that they're not going to do that for Cyberpunk. So they're going to keep Cyberpunk on their own engine, which, I was really hoping that they would take that one to Unreal 5. That would probably...
They probably wish they did too.
Wait, but Cyberpunk came out long before Unreal 5 was ready.
Yeah, but I mean, they're switching over to Unreal 5 now, right? So I was hoping that in the future they would maybe...
Oh, you mean another Cyberpunk game?
Yeah, like... they're going to do DLCs for sure, right? For Cyberpunk.
They're not going to put the existing game into a new engine.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would like that. I would want that if I could choose, definitely.
Yeah. I'd rather they just put all their attention on the next Witcher game. I've already moved on. I'm ready for the next thing.
I think eventually they will do it, though. I think once they have everything working well in Unreal 5 for Witcher, why would they, do the next Cyberpunk game?
I could see the next Cyberpunk game being in Unreal Engine 5 for sure if they do another one.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm excited. Jake, we also missed the other news today. It's not really news, but there's Jared Leto is still talking about Tron 3. I forget. Have we talked about this? Are you a fan of the Tron series of movies? I'm like, I love Tron Legacy. It's like one of my favorite movies.
That's the new one, right?
Yeah. And I wanted the third one so bad since it came out, and they keep like teasing it and then pulling it back.
You're the first person I've ever heard say that you like Tron Legacy, like period,
really?
Just like it. Not say favorite. Not say one of my favorite movies. No, but
it's not really, one of my favorite movies might be a stretch, but it is. But I just love it.
I also like Tron Legacy a lot. So
Jake, we agree on something?
Yeah, I know. That's like kind of why I was like, wait a second, is this happening? Are we actually like on the same page or something?
We have to have talked about this once.
I'm a monstrous Daft Punk fan. And they did the whole album for it. So I look at that as the best music video ever made.
It is the best 2-hour music video ever made.
Yeah. Michael Jackson ain't got nothing on Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
So for the third one, is it because they stopped, right? Or are they still going to do the soundtrack for Tron 3? Maybe they did it already.
The third one's gotten like kind of delayed.
That's a whole. Talking about Daft Punk doing an album for another Tron movie is a whole different conversation than the existence.
That seems unlikely at this point because they broke up.
But just really quick.
Maybe they did it already.
Galago, congratulations on winning today's giveaway, and I doubt it too.
Because the movie would have to be made first.
And we will message you next Monday with your voucher. We send them out a week after the stream. So
Bash Tubes, you got a 3080 white today. Lucky dude.
Those are like unicorns. I've never seen one in person.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay.
Enjoy it.
Let's get to the meat of what our show is tonight and kind of just diving in deep into what the Z13 is, how we got to the Z13, why the Z13 exists. Where do you want to start this, guys?
I don't even know where to start. This is one of the most exciting devices of the year, easily, for me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's back up a sec, because last year we released the X13, right? Which was this super compact gaming laptop, really thin and light, even thinner and lighter than the G14. But somehow still packed with a monster CPU, and like now this current version has a 3050 Ti in it, right? That's an insane amount of gaming power for a laptop that small. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it was one of the best laptops I've ever used in my entire life. And I was like, how are they going to top this? Exhibit A, they topped it because they turned it into a friggin' tablet. Yeah. Sascha, how did you do that? I thought it was impossible to fit that much power into a laptop the size of the X13.
I was surprised as well, because that's something that I think a lot of people maybe don't expect when they first see it, that, okay, it's a Windows tablet and it has a 12th gen CPU and it's a Core i9 CPU, but it's actually the same Core i9 CPU that you have in other laptops, including those huge Chungus, 17-inch desktop replacement laptops. It's the same Core i9 CPU that you have in there. So even though it's so slim, it's only 16, 17 millimeters, you have the same 45-watt Core i9 in there with the same 14 cores. So having all that horsepower in there is really crazy if you compare it to other Windows tablets like the Surface or other similar Windows tablets, right? There you get definitely not that much horsepower. So you get about the same performance as in a proper gaming laptop or even workstation laptop in a tablet. And the main reason how we are able to do it is the vapor chamber. So there's a huge vapor chamber. I have it here as well. This is not the final one, but you can see it goes all the way from the left side to the right side of the device. So
can you explain to people who are watching what a vapor chamber is and how it's different than the typical cooling you might find in a gaming laptop?
Right. So
also, Jake, you resize me.
I didn't resize anyone.
Oh yeah, Skype doing its magic again.
Put me back. Put me back.
Bad, Skype, bad. No,
we're going back to Discord if it keeps doing this. I hate
what's a vapor chamber, Sascha?
So vapor chamber is essentially a big flat heat pipe. So usually you have heat pipes, and they're moving the heat along the pipe. So it's a two-dimensional kind of thing. And then in vapor chamber, you have this big sheet. It's a chamber. So it's essentially, you could call it a huge, fat, flat heat pipe. That's essentially what it is. And because it's all one unit, that means that the heat can go in all directions at the same time. So for heat pipes, there's a certain limitation. You can only move so much heat on a single heat pipe. That's why you use several heat pipes, right? And on a vapor chamber, you have one big sheet, and the heat spreads out in all directions at the same time. So that's basically what a vapor chamber is, and it allows you to have a much larger surface area to move all the heat in all directions, to stream the condensed liquid water back to the center, to the CPU and GPU, and you can share all of that for CPU and GPU. So that's another benefit of having the vapor chamber and how we're able to get so much CPU performance in, especially out of the system, is because when you're not using the 3050 Ti, you can use the entire vapor chamber to cool just the CPU very effectively. So it's essentially like everything goes. When you have a normal laptop cooler, you have the CPU and the GPU and the VRM, right? And you have some heat pipes, they all go in different directions. One heat pipe touches this part, another heat pipe goes there, and they're still connected so they can share the load, but you can't use everything to cool only the CPU, right? But with a vapor chamber, that's what you can do, and that's how we're able to get so much performance out of it. So you can get up to Cinebench R23 score of around 17K. So to put that into perspective, on, let's say, our SCAR, we can get around 19K or 20K up to. So
that's crazy.
Holy.
Not a big difference, right?
So we're talking about, if you don't know, the SCAR is our highest power, highest performance laptop that we create, and we have comparable performance,
CPU performance.
Yes, CPU still on this super tiny body of a tablet. Yeah.
So here's the other cool. So you got the vapor chamber in there. And then the other thing that contributes to the cooling is the fact that unlike most laptops where you have all of the components basically sitting against your desk where you get some airflow under the feet and whatnot. But on this, all of the components are standing up. You have all of this cool air around it. That also increases the cooling performance.
Correct. So by the time that the air makes its way to the heatsink fins on the laptop, where the air gets blown out of the laptop and then cools the heatsink fins, by that time the air has had to stream through the keyboard or under the laptop and then creep its way through the laptop, and then it gets exhausted and cools actually the heatsink fins and the heat pipes or vapor chamber. But with this kind of setup, as you can see here on the main screen from Jake, you can basically draw in the cool air directly straight into the device from the back and then exhaust it all the way to the top. So there is essentially the path that the air has to travel is way shorter, and the intake air temperature, so the temperature of the air that goes into the device, is essentially room temperature. So on a desktop PC, people who are familiar with building PCs know that if you have an ambient temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, the temperature of the air inside your PC is usually around 40 degrees. And then that's like your CPU and GPU can only get to 40 degrees, even with the best possible heatsink and water cooling or whatever. So that's a limitation, right? And here you essentially have ambient temperature directly going in. So anybody who wants to boost the performance on their desktop PC knows you just take off the side panel, right? By doing that, you essentially then get the case temperature down to ambient temperature. And that's kind of what this does as well. So instead of the air going through the laptop and warming up and then cooling everything, here the air goes straight into the heatsink, immediately cools CPU and GPU, and then gets blown out the top and the side.
That's really, really cool. And I'm just amazed by the size of it, the thinness of it. And one of the other things that I believe we did on this is we were able to put components on both sides of the motherboard. Is that correct? And that allows us to shrink it thinner than you would expect for something with this much power.
Right, and that allows us to make the PCB smaller as well, so we can fit this humongous 56 watt-hour battery in there, which is
that's like half the tablet.
Right, and then that's a huge battery to have in a tablet, right? 56 watt-hours, and you can see it's really slim, and it has a very special design. You can see that it's essentially two parts that are slightly offset, so it's like two pieces. We did that, so it's a custom cell to fit into the Z13 as efficiently as possible to make use of all the space inside. And yeah, it has pretty good battery life too.
It does.
Excuse me.
And so this thing, to put this into perspective for people watching who maybe can't see the scale, this thing is 12 millimeters thick, which is literally like as thick as my watch. maybe thinner, actually.
Without the keyboard, it's even thinner. Yeah.
And it's a little bit under 2.5 pounds. Which is just nuts. Jake, can you show? I want to see the RGB window on the back.
Hold on.
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah, so there's Jake's phone. Yeah.
So that's the ROG Phone 5, like next to it, which is, I mean, it's tiny, but yeah, the RGB window.
Yeah.
The ROG Phone is not tiny.
No,
it's not, but
it's
a good
phone.
reference. Yeah, they did such a good job with the RGB lighting.
Dude, I think so baller.
Yeah. And you can turn it off. So anybody who's hating on ROG, don't worry. You can turn it off. You can set it to white as
RGB
well if you want.
Yeah, no one's hating on ROG. And if you can't
not
see
here.
Yeah, if you can't see, that's actually a window to the motherboard, right? Yep. With RGB lighting on it. It's not just lights.
Right. And it also like the light streams across it when you turn it on, so you have like the rainbow RGB effect on it when you power it on and stuff like that, and it flashes when it's going to sleep mode, and it supports in-game Aura Sync. So if you're playing a game that has Aura Sync support, that in-game support, that means if you die, like an Elden Ring, it flashes red or something like that.
Ghost Runner is one of my favorite
Ghost
examples.
Runners is really cool.
Yeah, especially in a dark room, it adds so much, to the immersion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so this is it's an aluminum alloy, right?
Yes,
The
correct.
chassis. So, Jake, I gotta ask you, because you've been gaming on the Z13 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How's that kickstand?
It is so wonderful.
Because I've used some flimsy kickstands in my day.
So not only is it not flimsy, but it's like I hold it by the kickstand. I was doing that earlier. there's like a grip, right?
Dude.
And it feels totally secure, just gripping it and just carrying this around. And you think about, if you wanted to hold it in one hand like this and draw or something, like, I don't know, maybe someone wants to do that. It can work totally like that. But the kickstand has extreme angles. I mean, down to what?
So you could do that if you're like drawing or something.
That's
with
like
it,
almost flat on the desk, but it's not, because it still
artistry.
can breathe, underneath. But my finger barely fits beneath it. Like it's really snug, with such a sharp angle, which I can show you here.
What I like is that it stays in that angle. Whatever you set it to, it doesn't like slowly go down or anything. And I've had this with these magic folding cover stands, for other tablets. It's like,
oh yeah,
you just swipe on the tablet and the whole thing starts to wobble and move, or
some laptops I've used, like some cheap laptops have hinges that are so flimsy that the hinge will like go down, But so something like this it's such a thin hinge that,
but it also feels
it's
so
really impressive how
meaty.
sturdy it is.
Yeah, it really is a treat. And whatever angle you want it standing really upright, it'll be just fine. Almost straight vertical like that. And this rubber tab on the side makes it really easy to just grab it. If it's completely sealed in all the way, you're not like trying to squeeze at it. It's got this little tiny red rubber tab on the side, which adds a nice accent visually, I think.
And I mean, when you use it as a tablet, most likely you're not going to have the keyboard with you, right? So that's another benefit over the X13, which is a clamshell that can transform into a tablet, but you still have the keyboard, right? You still have the keyboard with you all the time. With this one, because let's say you're probably going to use it as a tablet to, let's say, watch Netflix or do some touch or maybe do a little bit. Read comic books, and at that moment, in that scenario, you're not going to use the keyboard at all. Or if you have to type something, it's like you can use the on-screen keyboard. So then it's only 1.1 kilos, like super light, and you have the same device. And then now you want to write an email or something, you just connect it back to the detachable keyboard or any Bluetooth keyboard, right? Or even a desktop keyboard. So that's something I really like about.
I mean, a nice compact keyboard like the Falchion. I love this thing. And the first time I saw the Z13, I was like, I could use that with my Falchion.
Yes.
It's like the perfect little keyboard to bring with you if you want a mechanical keyboard with like 4 millimeters of travel. Although the keyboard cover on this is really good. For like, you would expect a keyboard cover to be like really have really shallow travel and stuff, but like, no, they actually did a good job with that.
And you have the two angles, right? You can either have it flat on the desk and then it's a really solid typing experience, or you can have it propped up at an angle and then it flexes slightly, but that makes the typing much softer and more comfortable as well. So you can choose which way you prefer it. And I mean, it has a Type A USB port. So you can connect any keyboard to it, which is really cool. You don't need an adapter or anything. So mouse, keyboard, you can plug it in as well.
So Jake, what kind of ports? Speaking of ports, what kind of ports do we have on this? Is it just one proprietary charging point that no one has a cable for, or is it
USB-C, and there's
not
actually
throwing shade at any manufacturer in particular.
So there's two USB-C here. Technically, this one, the lower one that you see there, is the XG Mobile connection, which has a USB-C underneath the cover, but the XG Mobile is just a PCIe direct line in to this guy, which is our XG Mobile, that's a 3080.
We can talk about that in a sec.
There's multiple variations of that. And then
I keep hitting my mic. Sorry, guys.
How dare you? And then you've got one more USB-A and the aux port, the headphone jack, volume control, power button. And that is it. So there's not a ton of USB ports, but it is a tablet.
But the fact that you have a couple USB
You've
ports.
Got three, which is actually a lot
USB
for a
ports
tablet.
Is pretty baller for a tablet.
And a Type A. Like Type A on a Windows tablet is,
They're
and then the Type C ports, both of the Type C ports support charging.
Yeah,
both
which
of
is
them.
huge. Both of them. You can't get twice the amount of charging if you use them both, though. That doesn't work. If you were wondering, that doesn't work.
But you don't even need that, right? Because with 100 watt PD, we can charge from 0 to 50% in 30 minutes. So
it's insane.
That's like in half an hour, you go from 0 to 50%, and then like 1 extra hour, and bam, it's full. So it's charging really fast. And both the Type C ports have display signal out as well. and one of them is Thunderbolt 4. So for those of you who don't want to go extreme mobile, you should, because the performance is really good because it's direct PCI Express. But let's say you already have a Thunderbolt external GPU adapter, you can use that on the Z13 as well. So, or if you have, if you have a
Thunderbolt dock.
Right, anything Thunderbolt, like those super fast external SSDs, or it all works. So you have both Thunderbolt and XG Mobile support for this one.
So let's talk about the XG Mobile. So for those who don't know, the XG Mobile, Jake, if you could hold it up.
Yeah.
You've probably seen a lot of the big external GPUs you can hook up over Thunderbolt, but this is our solution. It's very compact, but that's got an RTX.
And lightweight.
Yeah, lightweight. It's like the size. I like to describe it as kind of like the size of like a small hardcover book. You could easily leave it on your desk and just dock your Flow Z13 or your Flow X13 to it when you come home, or you could put it in a backpack easily and bring it with you. Right. It's got an RTX 3080 laptop.
There's multiple variations. There's a AMD and an NVIDIA variation.
There's one that has. Remind me what the AMD one is. It's a 6850 HS.
I got one right here. So it's the it's the RX 6850M XT.
So yeah, sorry. I
hope I got that right. I think so.
No, I think you're right. So you have your choice between Team Green, Team Red.
Right.
And it basically adds a ton of extra graphical power and a ton of ports. You can hook up Ethernet. You can hook up more displays. You have a ton of USB-A ports for your mice and keyboards.
Let's just kind of go over that. So the default tablet has 3 USB ports. Then you plug it into the XG Mobile. You lose 1 USB port in the process, but you gain 4 USB-A, DisplayPort, HDMI, and Ethernet. So
full-size DisplayPort, right? Yeah,
full-size
DisplayPort and HDMI.
Full-size HDMI.
And you get it. Full-size SD card reader as well, which is hidden really well at the top.
I think when I reviewed it, I didn't even notice the SD card reader was there. But that's perfect. Like that was the only thing that it's truly
was
incredible.
Just like, really?
Yeah, I was like, that's so clever.
This is the device that could get me to ditch a desktop. Just like put the XG Mobile on my desk, and the Z13 just becomes, because it does everything.
Right. It's a tablet. It's a laptop. It can replace your desktop. That's kind of the idea behind it. And you have this one device where you have your files always with you, no matter if you have good internet. Like, you can technically remotely log on, right? But that you still depend on the internet working properly. With this, you have all your files with you all the time, anywhere.
So, and you could prop it on a table and hook up Xbox controllers to it and play split screen with your friends at the bar.
Right.
I see some comments about availability. I believe they started pre-orders for the Z13 in the US. I think there were. I thought I saw that pre-orders were up on Newegg or something.
I believe they're shipping.
Oh, they're shipping.
Yeah, we sold already, but it is what it is. Yeah. Like supply, demand.
You may have to keep an eye on it.
And also, we were just talking about the SD card reader. You don't actually need the XG Mobile because there's a micro SD card slot right here on the Z13.
Oh, so that's nice if you want to add extra storage to the Z13, but the full-size SD card is good if you're like a photographer and you're doing some creative work on it. So they both serve their purposes. Now, I believe you can actually upgrade the storage on the Z13 also, though, right, Sascha?
That's right. So,
this is bonkers for a tablet. Not only does it have a micro SD card slot for you to expand the storage, but you can actually remove the SSD and put in a larger SSD.
Yeah.
Right, and it's an M.2 2230, so that's the really short one. It goes up to 1 terabyte right now, but you will be able to get to higher storage, I'm pretty sure, because that's the same form factor that the Steam Deck, for example, uses as well. And we all know that people will want to upgrade their Steam Decks, right, to probably 2 terabytes. So I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of time until there's 2230, 2 terabyte, maybe even 4 terabyte SSDs, and then you can upgrade it on your Z13 as well.
Question, does it ship with a stylus? I don't remember seeing one in the box, but I could have missed it.
Depends. That depends on the country. So it's the way we work. We mentioned this a couple of times, but yeah, essentially we provide the device and different configuration options and everything from HQ, and then the local offices decide, do I want to bring this product to my market at all? And if yes, what configuration options, and what price point and what accessory and all this stuff. So there is a bundle with the stylus as well.
Okay. Well, when you check the product page in your country, it'll say what's in the box. So make sure to check that because
and
it
keep
will
an
be
eye on the
listed
display
if it is
too.
there.
Because there are 2 display options for the Z13. You can get a 1080p display that is 120 hertz or a 4K display that is, I believe, 60 hertz. Is that right, Sascha?
I think the full HD, we bumped it up to 144, I think. But yeah, QHD,
really?
no, sorry, 4K should be 60 hertz. Yeah,
4K 60 hertz. But the 4K one also has a wider color gamut, so it's especially if you're going to be doing creative work on it and you need that DCI P3 color space, that 4K display is going to be really nice. But at 13 inches, I don't know, I might personally go 1080p 120 hertz.
Right, yeah.
It's a tough call, but it's a small enough display that the pixel density on 1080p is still going to be really good. And with that 3050 Ti, you could play a lot of games at 1080p with a 3050 Ti.
Yeah,
at 1080p.
Yes,
you don't even need the XG Mobile to play on that screen. If you're playing on a bigger monitor, the XG Mobile is incredible.
I just checked recently, like the latest games. There's somebody on YouTube who tested like the latest top 20 titles on a 3050 Ti, and I mean you have to set the games to low settings or medium settings, but you can play pretty much
always
anything.
I'm
the latest games.
I'm playing Elden Ring on high at 1080p with a pretty similar class GPU, and I think Jake, you were too, weren't you? Weren't you playing Elden Ring on that?
I'm literally launching it as we speak.
Yeah. At 1080p for a 3050, you can get away with actually some decent, maybe not max settings, because max settings are never the best bang for your buck.
I've got a 3080 Ti. Yeah, I've got a 3080 Ti and a 5900 in my desktop, and I still can't run max settings in 4K. This game is still being optimized. They're patching it. They're making it smoother and better with every patch.
I'm talking in general.
Oh, okay.
With any games, ultra settings are like kind of you get into the point of diminishing returns. But for 1080p, you could probably play most games at medium to high settings on the Z13 with the 3050 Ti. I would bet dollars to donuts based on my experience with my 1070, which is kind of a similar class of card.
And for the panel,
3050 is better.
So some people were asking why a 4K panel, because for 13-inch, can you actually see the difference? And it's like, well, if you look really close, yes, you can. But, in reality, the reason why we have that 4K panel is, there is no QHD panel in that size, unfortunately. So that's why we went for the 4K panel instead. And the reason is some people do want more than full HD on a 13-inch, which I think is understandable, especially if you factor in how the whole idea of this is that you can use it as a desktop replacement. So once you connect it to a monitor, you'll definitely have more than full HD resolution, right? So you'll have QHD or 4K. And a lot of people will probably have 4K, and that's the cool thing about having 4K on the built-in panel as well. Is if you then use a 4K monitor, you don't, you know how Windows 11
you can just like mirror it directly and not have to worry about dual resolutions.
Windows 11 got a lot better at this kind of stuff, but it's still preferred to have the same resolution, on the built-in panel and external monitor. It's just more smooth and everything just scales super crisp and clear.
And if you're doing content creation on it, like if you're drawing on it, doing art, like that 4K panel is worth having. For sure.
Just pixel real estate, right? Being able to see all the different buttons and menu items and everything.
Jake is distracted in gaming already. Yep. But look,
that looks nice.
He's just playing it on he's playing Elden Ring on a tablet, you guys. Like, this is, you're witnessing, and the XG Mobile is not plugged in, I would point out. He's not even.
Oops, so they just knocked it over.
You're just breaking
it.
That's cool.
That's not good.
Now, if you like, Jake has also hooked the Z13 up to his OLED TV. And so then if you want to be able to crank that up to like 1440p for your TV, hook up the XG Mobile and you're really cruising. But for just gaming on the Z13,
and also for content creation, right? Like for a lot of content creation scenarios, you do want a dedicated GPU, but you don't necessarily need the top of the line GPU. A 3050 is plenty, and you do get NVENC, right? Which is really cool, and it is RTX. It's RTX 3050, so you do have all these other SDKs and everything.
You got DLSS.
Right.
So if for some reason you stumble on you don't really need it because it can just play anything at 1080p. But let's say you're using that 4K display, or again, you hook it up to your TV or something, you've got DLSS has your back for scaling things up, which is just amazing. Or if you don't have, if the game doesn't support DLSS, you can use like NVIDIA image scaling and stuff too. Which,
why doesn't this game have touchscreen support? I mean, I can barely play. Like, this is ridiculous. Don't they know that we have gaming tablets now?
Yeah, imagine having like a mobile game interface on there, like with the buttons on the bottom.
I'm sure you could get a third-party software to do that with.
That would actually be really cool, like playing Elden Ring on the tablet with just touch.
Dude, Xbox Game Pass needs to. So Game Pass has a few games, like if you stream it, you can stream them with touch controls. A few of them, like Hades, you can play with touch. I played with touch controls on my ROG phone, streaming it from Game Pass. It would be cool if you could do that on the Z13 too. I don't think they support it on the Windows version, but also if you have the Z13, you could just get a gamepad.
I'm lost.
But this is also, I mean, it's a great device for, if you're talking about streaming from Xbox Game Pass, this is also an excellent device for that too.
Again, NVENC, right? So you don't really have any performance penalty from streaming. And
you've got Wi-Fi 6E built in, so you've got a strong network connection for streaming. I don't even have Wi-Fi 6E at my house yet, and streaming has been performing pretty well. So if you get like a Wi-Fi 6E router and hook it up to this bad boy, you would be shocked at how well streaming works.
Are you Slaying Snowman? What is that? I haven't played Elden Ring yet. I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert.
This is pretty deep in, yeah.
Okay.
Would the battery last on a 6-hour flight?
Depends on what you're doing, for one.
But yeah,
if you're playing Elden Ring, you might be
probably not.
But if you're watching movies or and maybe if you play something casual, let's say you're playing League of Legends or Dota or something like that, that kind of caliber, obviously not online, but if you play that kind of game on integrated graphics,
I just like how you call those games casual. You just call all League and Dota players casuals.
No. I mean casual as like the hardware requirements.
I know, but that's not the terminology most people would use.
Another thing to note is that most flights I've been on lately have outlets, so you can just plug it in. But also, again, because you can charge it over USB-C, if you start running low on battery because you're doing really intense gaming, you can just hook it up to a portable battery pack and charge it up that way, no outlet required. That is the beauty of USB-C charging.
We have our Zen Power Pro. They support PD. I think they cannot charge at 100 watts, but I think 60 watts or something. So that's fun.
Which then that'll take you far. Jake's this is
bad. Let me quit.
Game stream now.
Yeah, because I did promise the stream the other day that I would show off gaming without the extreme mobile in Elden Ring because I didn't have a good way to capture this directly for the stream. Because I'm using our tough FHD 120 capture card with HDMI to the XG mobile.
FHD 120.
This is the FHD 120, brand new.
I almost told someone that it was the
Z4K30. Yeah, it is no longer. Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't say that.
This is the FHD 120.
So how do you like the FHD 120?
I like it more than the 4K30 personally, just because I stream on Twitch. Twitch is 1080p.
I guess that makes sense.
Oop, as I touch this cable, you can hear the buzz because it's plugged into my interface. Anyways, this is the C4K30. This is the new FHD 120. And I keep yelling at them to give me an ROG capture card, so hopefully they'll listen someday.
Someone else was asking about that in chat.
I know, because
we don't have one yet.
I want ROG.
Yes, that is weird, right? Why is there a tough version, not an ROG version? That's the first thing I thought as well when I heard of those. Yeah,
but
nothing against tough. I mean, tough is awesome, but
I know. Yeah, we unboxed the tough A15 on stream the other day. We were talking about it. We don't usually talk about tough here.
Tough is awesome and tough is great, but ROG is king.
Hard to avoid talking about how awesome tough is when you're looking at our full suite of laptops. I love the stuff. The tough laptops this year too.
Yeah, I got a lot.
Oh yeah, the new ones look really nice.
So
very simplistic industrial design.
Yeah, I like it.
So, Jerson, we were just talking about that. The stylus is included in some regions, but not all regions. So it depends.
It depends on the shop as well. Let's say maybe if you buy it at Walmart, it comes with the stylus, and if you buy it at Best Buy, they are selling it without the stylus, something like that.
It's so the box has the notch for the pen in the event that the pen is included, but it's not necessarily always included. So that's the answer to your question.
So you don't know until you open it up and you're either
you can
stylus
check
or disappointment.
Yeah, I mean
they should list it.
It would be nice if they would just send you a regular pen in its place, so that at least when you get something in the box, you're like, oh, it's just a regular ballpoint pen.
Right.
I mean,
or like some kind of candy stick. So you're like, oh, there's the stylus, and then you want to use it. Like, oh, right, snack.
At least I can eat it, right? No, we were laughing in chat earlier. The guy who got the new graphics card. When I got my new graphics card, I was like, why is there a ruler in the box?
Oh, that is nice. I haven't seen that before.
It's actually a really kind of cool looking, and it's like actually pretty sturdy. It's not like paper. Like this is a solid little ruler, but yeah, it's like this little like keychain ruler. It's like 4 inches, and I was like, I don't understand what the connection to the graphics card is, but I have used this so many times since because it's so small and it just like fits right into the little slot on my desk, and I have actually been measuring stuff with it. So okay, ruler for the win.
Yeah.
Ruler with a purchase of any graphics card.
Yeah, I've seen the full size ruler that our graphics card team does, and those are nice.
What? Some of them come with full size rulers?
Yes, yeah.
I got ripped off with my 4-inch ruler.
All right, let's connect the XG Mobile and show what this can do.
I got a 3070 Strix too. How high end do I have to buy to get the 12-inch ruler?
I don't know if it gets bundled or if it's like a giveaway accessory, but yeah, they're like, they feel so nice and solid because they use the extra thick copper layer PCB for graphics cards, and then that's the same material that they make the rulers out of it.
Cool.
So it's actually really hefty, like it's not heavy, but it feels like
it's got like a
Okay,
a nice
so
durability to it.
I've just plugged the XG Mobile in. This is our external GPU, and this is a 3080 inside this. When you plug it in, it even tells you lock it. So there's a physical lock on the back of this.
Right. And that's just to make sure that, you don't accidentally pull on the cable or move the device and then it just gets disconnected, which doesn't break anything, but it can cause the game
Better
to crash.
safe than sorry. Yeah.
Right.
So as soon as you do
you
that,
wouldn't pull out your GPU from your desktop PC while you were playing the game.
Exactly.
So you don't want to do it with a laptop either.
So once you do that and you lock it and it knows it's locked, it says, okay, you want to connect to XG Mobile, you hit okay. Then
who says no to that? Like, I wonder.
Well, it's just you confirming to set up the process. So maybe you want to wait a second. Maybe you want to finish doing something before it's going to fully take over, because this is going to take over your GPU. It's going to give your CPU a little bit more. Basically all the allocation for the cooling, and then your GPU.
Right, and maybe you just want to charge, right? Because the XG Mobile also charges and powers the laptop. So maybe you just wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I've never had it tell me to restart when connecting to it. That's a first. But
it's probably because you had the game open already. Maybe that's why.
Maybe. Oh, you know what? You're probably right. I've never had it say that. Normally, I don't have to restart my PC for this. But it says your PC needs to restart. Whatever. It's going to take like a minute. No big deal. And then when you're back in, you then gain the power of an RTX 3080. You gain the display port, the HDMI port, their Ethernet port, and 4 USB-A. Or full SD as well if you want that. And this is where I've been streaming with this the last 2 weeks on Twitch. If you want to check it out, we've been streaming Elden Ring, 4K high settings, not 4K, 1080p high settings. Just really enjoying it. I've also done 1440 with it as well, which looks really good.
Yeah, that 3080 can definitely handle 1440 in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And on the new XG Mobile, the AMD one, the ports have been upgraded as well. So HDMI is 2.1 and the LAN port is 2.5G now. So that's really
that's an enticing reason to go with the AMD version,
right?
Because it's got upgraded ports.
And we have reviews of the new XG Mobile coming out pretty soon. So the performance is really nice, and especially the price performance is really impressive.
Ooh, teasers.
Yeah.
Someone is asking. Rolls is asking, is the fingerprint sensor the power button?
Yes. Yeah, on the right side. So.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
It's a single sign-on button. Yeah.
Z13.
So,
yep. So when you turn on the device,
personally,
it also captures your fingerprint, and then once Windows is ready, it just locks you in right away.
Which is so awesome. Yeah. So you don't have to put your finger on the sensor again when you get to the login screen. Like when you turn on the laptop, it caches your fingerprint, which is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. And then also you don't, have to put your finger on the power button and maybe accidentally put it to sleep or turn it off, which happens on some other devices.
I did not even think about that. Yeah.
But now this is all directly plugged in, and I guess just to check, we can see. Oh, video signal is abnormal. Okay,
good abnormal.
Job. The tough capture card is mad. Yeah, it's like I did something weird. It's like not set up yet. What about now?
It's like, I don't like this.
There we go.
I don't know. It's just jealous.
It was still like initiating the XG mobile. That's why.
Oh, okay.
So now we have a direct capture of this feed if I was to do anything with it. And that's, it's crazy that you can stream from a tablet, right? I just think that's really cool. But I also am a stream nerd. So
Venus Project, good question. Pricing. I always
17 hundo, I think, in the
want to make sure that I get this right.
$17.99 for the Flow Z13.
Oh yeah, it's right there
entry
on the screen.
Point. Yeah,
at the top. Yeah,
there's a few different variations.
Right, I think there's one at Best Buy that was $18.99. Yes, I think at Best Buy there's two versions, and one is $16.49, and the other one is $18.99, something like that.
There's, different storage,
different
display options.
Yeah.
I think it's Core i9 and Core i7, and then different storage and memory, and yeah, I think different panel too.
Because again,
the real question is, do we have pricing for this year's XG Mobile?
The new XG Mobile. That I haven't heard yet. That's but the price
I can say that last year's XG Mobile was, I think, $1,500
for the 3080. Yeah,
for the 3080 one. Yes. And so that's not saying that this one will be the same, but what the ballpark of last year's was.
Yeah, and I think the 3070 was around 1,000, right? And
like maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more.
3070 one was.
So Odd Cinderella asks how many options. Again, this is kind of something we talked about earlier. It's going to vary by region. Every region determines what they want to carry. Every store is going to determine what they want to carry. It's up to them.
Right.
But if you click this Flow Z13 link that just appeared in chat, if you type !laptop, you can go to the product page. And then if you go to the tech specs, it should show you
the where to buy links.
The variations that we offer and the where to buy links. So like on this page, there are 3 variations. You've got 2 different displays. You've got 2 different graphics cards. There's one with a 3050 and one with a 3050 Ti. So you can go with and there's one with just the integrated graphics.
Yeah, which is even more interesting for people who want to use this as a desktop replacement, right?
I always forget about that one.
Yeah, so that's I love that option, because
honestly that one would work for me.
Yeah,
me too,
on the go,
I think.
the integrated graphics
would be fine with integrated graphics, and I would use the XG Mobile when I'm gaming anyway.
Yeah.
Not true of everyone, but I like that version exists.
Me too. Yes. I think it's cool.
If you know you're going to use the XG Mobile with it. That said, also the 3050 is a good card, and I could see myself using that one too. So you can see that some different configurations there, and then also see where to buy them in your region and what variations they offer. But that page should give you some idea, because it's and there are 3 different processors as well.
Options. So yeah, check that link.
Plenty of options
in Twitch chat. !laptop. Our commands do not work on YouTube, guys. I'm sorry. YouTube is dumb. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's not ! tablet. It's ! laptop.
I know.
Someone typed an ! tablet.
Oh yeah. Well, he's writing. You're correct. I'm wrong for creating the laptop command for a tablet.
It's usually because Jake's usually streaming with a laptop, and so
we use it's supposed to be an interchangeable command based on whatever product I'm using. Yeah.
Friday you'll be streaming. Actually, probably not Friday.
No,
but
that's on next week.
This Z13 is going to Eric, and you'll be streaming with the G14 next week.
Sure. I've got options.
Sure.
I've got options here. So it's,
stream with the G14 so that you can send it to me afterwards, because I need to run some benchmarks.
All right, we'll be gaming with the G14
and after
next
that,
week.
you can stream on the Scar.
Yeah. Which I've already been gaming on. The Scar has become
quit hogging all the new devices,
I know.
Jake.
Well,
I think that's what Whitson is getting at.
It was Whitson's choice to send them all to me first, and I was like,
it makes it easier for the shippers if they all go to Jake, and then Jake distribute them out to the rest of us. Odd Cinderella asks, is the XG Mobile optional, or is it necessary for the device? The XG Mobile is 100% optional.
Yep. So I was just
recommended though.
I was just playing Elden Ring in 1080p 60 FPS without the XG Mobile on stream. So that's a brand new game. It's a AAA game. It wasn't on low settings. It was on high settings. They might be asking
if you can buy them separately too.
Oh, you can absolutely buy them separately.
When the X13 came out, I believe we were only selling it in a bundle with the XG Mobile.
Yeah.
You can buy them separately when they first launched, but yeah. So these you can buy separately. If you want just the tablet with either integrated graphics or that 3050 Ti, you can do that, or you can grab it with an XG Mobile to fit your needs.
Sascha, before you joined the call when you were setting up, I told Whitson that this is my favorite device now. It's become like it is mine. This is like this is mine.
And I know, like I remember like, when you first
cut a week is like a few weeks of pay. That's fine. I just this is mine.
Not my call to make, but okay. I remember when you first saw the Duo, you loved that ScreenPad Plus, having that super wide touchscreen.
So
and then
the Duo is the new one's coming here, and I can't wait to try out the new one. And that might be because that new display, I haven't seen it in person yet. The hinge that makes it so seamless looks gorgeous.
I mean, for a streamer,
as a streamer, that is the perfect device. But how?
You were saying that you would love to have just that display by itself, and then we did launch that display just by itself, so you can have
hook that up to the Z13, and you got yourself a Z13 Duo.
Wait, that's not an ROG. That's an Asus device. That's an Asus panel, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
yes,
I actually know very little about it because I only actually pay attention to our ROG products. I know it exists because Asus we make so many things with every different, ProArt, Asus, TUF, ROG. There's ZenBook. There's too much to know every single thing.
My ZenBook. The ZenBooks are really nice. Just shout out there.
Who do I talk to get one of those displays?
I can hook you up. Let me know.
Just the Asus. What's it called? Is it just called the ScreenPad Plus?
That's what we call it on the laptop.
What's the standalone one called?
I don't remember.
I only work on the ROG side, so I sometimes forget what the other things are called. Does it work with games the same way that the ScreenPad Plus does?
Yeah, exactly the same. And it's exactly the same panel. And it has a really cool hinge mechanism that you can adjust it to any angle. You can also have it vertical, which is really interesting. And it is touchscreen, right? So I know that you were into that kind of stuff.
Well, that was like my first feedback I gave to headquarters. I'm like, why doesn't this exist for desktop? That was like the first thing I said to you guys. I was like, this is really cool. Why don't we have this for desktop?
Right, and then I asked, the monitor team was like, hey, our streamer Jake in the US was like, hey, this would be great as a standalone monitor. And they were like, yeah, we're making it. It's coming soon. So
love it.
And
why doesn't anyone read my mind when I want a product?
Right.
Just kidding. The X13 is still like my favorite laptop of all time. So I guess I'm pretty set. I think that it's a tough call between this and the X13 for me. If I had to choose.
So if anyone doesn't know what the X13 is, it's similar to this, but it is a proper laptop where the keyboard does not detach. It folds completely flat, and you can use it in like tent mode. And there's a lot of options. It connects to the XG Mobile just like this because they're both in the Flow series. They're basically sister tablets. But it's
the same panel. Sister laptop tablets, sister convertibles.
Sure. They're both really cool, and it's great to have the options, right?
And the main difference between those two is that the Z13 is Intel-based versus the X13, which is AMD-based.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
then, one is a clamshell that can transform into a tablet. The other one is a tablet that can transform into a laptop when you attach the keyboard. So two different kinds of ways of getting to the same kind of versatility. But then, I'm
a sucker for portability. The Z13 is so small that it could win me over just on like the sheer size.
Dude, it's won me over so hard.
I love it. The smaller the better.
Like I'm going to PAX East in a month and I'm like, what laptop do I bring? Z13.
Oh, we will have the Duo 16 at PAX East. Shout out. So
we will. If you're going to PAX East, come by our booth and say hi, because we're going to have a bunch of laptops on display, desktop components, peripherals.
AMD is going to have a booth as well, and they'll have a Duo 16 on their booth as well.
That's right.
So there will be two places where you
can
I
think there might be more than two places. I think there might be some of our stuff at Xbox. I don't know. I could be wrong. I know that we're going to be around. Like there's going to be a lot of cool Asus stuff. So
a lot of J16s.
When people type capture in the chat, it points to the CU 4K30. You got to update that too.
I know because I actually wasn't sure until like yesterday if I was allowed to promote it. So
you guys are like an old couple. You've been streaming together so much.
I know. It's been like what's it been like 9 months now?
When did you join?
Feels
like July-ish?
June,
yeah.
Middle of June.
Yeah.
Another marbles?
Yeah, we're doing one more giveaway. One more winner.
Right.
We just give away codes all the time on stream.
We like to make it rain.
All kinds of marbles. This is actually a marble stream with a side of Elden Ring. It's not the other way around.
It's an ROG branded marble stream.
I wanted to play the ROG branded version of PC Building Simulator on stream, but we never got around to it.
You know,
there's always time.
Now that the sequel is coming out.
They should have a competition mode for PC Builder, you know, where it's like time and then everybody has to assemble the system and who can build it faster. They should totally do something like that. Like just like at LAN parties, do you remember? Like back in the days, they would have those build competitions, like who can build a system faster and like which of the systems performs better and all that kind of stuff.
I always think that I'll be able to build something quickly. Like I had a buddy of mine is a pro streamer actually, and he has a machine that we needed to do a motherboard swap on, and I was like, this will take like 15 minutes. We can do it quickly. It took like 2 hours.
It depends on the case a lot, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. But I'm always like, oh, it'll just take a minute, and then it always is like, well, now I got to do all this other stuff. I'm so much slower than I think.
It's an easy 2 hours to replace my motherboard because I considered doing it at one point.
GPU swap is easy, but once you start getting to the motherboard or the power supply, it's
once you go like water cooled, like custom loop. It's
that's why I left water cooling. Because I was like, every time I had to do a GPU swap, I had to like drain the entire loop and then refill it.
Or even just upgrading memory or swapping an SSD. It's like, let me just install a new SSD, you know, or
that's why like that. Jake and I were talking about this before stream. We're both team giant honking air cooler.
Yep.
Yeah,
our AOs are really they're really nice. They're not hard to use. I installed my wife's AO. It's great.
Yeah.
A couple things. Abdul asks, wondering when the Zephyrus Duo 16 will be released. We're looking at April and May. Right now, that's the tentative timeline for on-shelf availability. No official date, but yeah, that's in the U.S. Other regions might be the same. They might be a little bit before or after. It's really hard to tell because, well, I mean, demand is crazy globally.
And just a heads up on that as well. It looks like the R7 version is going to drop before the R9 version. So just a heads up. Once you do see it pop up on stores, you'll probably see the R7 version first. The R9 version is going to come as well, but there's like a slight time difference. So it's going to come like a few weeks later, like 2-3 weeks or something.
Cool. That's good to know. I hope you make a product for cooling SSD. Are you trolling us?
No, we actually do. Yeah, the Arium, it's an awesome external M.2 SSD. I love it.
Yeah, for the M.2. In my head, for some reason when people say SSD, I still think 2.5 inch, and I'm like, a cooler for a 2.5 inch drive. And we were talking about water cooling, so I was thinking like a water cooling plate for a 2.5 inch drive, and I thought he was trolling us. But yeah, no, heat sinks for M.2s. Yeah, we do have those.
And then on the motherboards, I think we do have heat sinks for the M.2 as well, right?
Yeah. You mean with our motherboards? Yeah, we have heat shields that come with some of our motherboards. Yeah, for the M.2s.
I do have
Jake,
that.
did you wiggle?
No, I didn't wiggle. What?
And I have to say, do you guys remember
to wiggle? You got to wiggle.
There's no redeeming of wiggles on this channel, is there? Did I?
I don't know.
Maybe you should. Sascha, you wiggle in my honor. No,
I'm not gonna wiggle.
Absence of logic says, I don't like the fact that if you want to replace an NVMe drive, you have to remove your GPU. It depends on, a lot of motherboards come with multiple M.2 slots now, and I usually put mine in a lower one so that I can access it without removing my GPU.
Yeah.
It's usually, although it depends, I guess I'm using a SATA M.2, so I don't know and I have a older motherboard, so it might be like the NVMe is only the top one and the bottom one doesn't work with NVMe. I don't know, but these days we have so many M.2 slots on our motherboard.
Right.
You should be able to use the one that's not directly behind your GPU.
On some boards it is like that, and then that does suck. Yeah, I do agree. And
honestly, does that suck more than having to unscrew those tiny little screws that then fall through the grate into your power supply? Because that's happened to me more than once. That is why the Q latch is the most exciting thing to happen in motherboard technology in years.
Q-Latch, Q-Latch is so good.
I'm so excited.
Congrats, Deathwish. GG's.
You populate all of your M.2 slots, absence of logic. You have too much storage.
Wow.
You have a problem.
Or a motherboard with only 2 slots. I mean, we don't know, right?
Yeah, that's possible.
That's possible.
But what do you guys remember the first gen the Gen 4 SSDs, the first generation of those, they were running so hot, right? They needed cooling a lot. And now the new second gen Gen 4 SSDs, Whitson is going to lose it. He needs to be resized again. But yeah, the new Gen 4 SSDs now, they really don't run that hot at all.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. The current ones, they're great. I'm really glad that they managed to
I haven't followed it too closely because I use the SATA one. And my heatsink on it is purely for looks.
Nice.
Because the SSD was like green or something. Yeah. The PCB and the rest of it was black. So I was like, yeah, I got to put a blue metallic heatsink on that. Make it match the rest of the build.
Oh, you have a Crosshair 8 Extreme with 5 slots? I don't even know how much my Crosshair 8
Dude, what are you doing with your life that you're using 5 M.2 slots? What are you storing? Don't answer that.
How many M.2 go on my Crosshair 8 Hero? I don't have an Extreme. I have a Hero. I know I have at least 2, but I never even considered, like, I need to make sure I have lots of M.2 slots.
I guess, to be fair, I am using 3 drives in my computer. It's just that 2 of them are 2.5-inch drives. I'm still using regular SATA.
You're a savage, right? For one. You're just an absolute savage. Like, that's disgusting.
And if you're video editing or something like that, you need a lot of scratch discs.
God, hard. Right. Can you imagine waiting for your disk drive to spin up in 2022? Oh my God.
It's only for storage. It's only for extra storage. My main drive is an SSD. But look, once you have more than 2 drives, it's time to get a NAS. I've
got 3, but I've got my game drive, I've got my work drive, and then I've got my M.2, which is basically like Windows and my big programs that deserve VIP access.
Dude, I've got a full server rack in my closet downstairs. Actually, it's like a half-height server rack made out of IKEA tables. And I have a rack mount PC case that goes in.
Someday we're going to have this IKEA apocalypse where everything is made out of IKEA furniture. It's just like old bits of IKEA modded together.
It's amazing. IKEA end tables are the exact width of server gear. Someone had to have done that on purpose. Someone was making that end table and was like, you know what?
IKEA hacks are awesome. There's a whole subreddit dedicated to IKEA hacks because they're awesome.
Are you guys getting in the IKEA ROG?
It's available in the US.
It's here. It's amazing.
Nice. I'm eyeing that desk. I'm really thinking about getting the desk. And it's so quiet, like the motor, right? Like when it goes up and down, you barely hear it. I like that.
I like the look of the chair.
I just built my new office with all new everything, so I
built myself a desk, so you can pry this desk from my cold dead hands. But if I were buying one today, I would definitely be eyeing that ROG desk from IKEA for sure.
Just 1 year too late. Guys, we are a bit over time, so we do need to wrap things up here. But
time. What is time?
What is time? Well, it is
silence.
Yeah. Do I throw my wife under? She's gonna kill me if I'm on too late.
Don't.
But
I actually have a meeting I have to go to, so
this was a really good deep dive. I mean, we got a lot of insight.
You can join the meeting at the same time. Just stay on, you know?
That's a great idea, Sascha.
Jake just wants to get back to Elden Ring. Yeah, that's probably true. I'm going to go play some
Elden Ring. I would really die if I went to go play more Elden Ring. But yeah, guys, I don't know. A lot of fun stuff today. Tomorrow, I will be streaming some Elden Ring on our channel because...
What else?
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm addicted. Yeah. It's not on the schedule, but I'm addicted. Well, it's on the Twitch schedule. I put it there today. So 3 p.m. tomorrow, if you want to tune in and hang out, see some more Elden Ring. I haven't played since the stream yesterday because I just haven't had any time. So get ready for more exploring of the capital or wherever we are, because we hit a good threshold, and I feel like there's going to be a big boss soon. There are no more hoodies. We did 2 more hoodies yesterday, so we gave away 5 hoodies total. That's it. We're done. No more hoodies. Congrats to the hoodies winners. We're going to get them all shipped out soon. But we will have the epic game keys for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands to give out via Games Planet on Friday, and then next Tuesday we're going to be playing Ghostwire Tokyo. Probably Tuesday. It could end up being on Friday, but probably on Tuesday, because I want to do more co-op Tiny Tina Wonderlands on Friday the following week.
Oh, well, you're already signing me up for.
Yeah. You don't have a choice. You're my teammate, man. You got to play games with me. If I got to run solo, then I will. But
I'll be there.
Okay, good.
I'm in.
Because a lot of fun. I'm really, really excited for Tiny Tina Wonderlands. I think it's going to be a very good game because it's Borderlands meets D&D, basically fantasy.
What could be better?
That does sound nice.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sascha, Shout outs, my friend. What do you got? Anything you want to add? Any games you want to say you love?
Still Deep Rock Galactic. No,
I
wanted to tell you.
It's a good game.
If you're, have you been to that? You were talking how you're a big fan of Harry Potter. Have you been to the Harry Potter land thing?
Potter World.
I've been to the one. I've been to the one in Florida because I was working at the ESPN Wide World of Sports on a esports tournament for like a month. So my wife actually flew down while I was staying there for work, and we went to Harry Potter World. And then on our honeymoon, we went to London and we went to the Harry Potter Studio Tour. So
that's cool. What a honeymoon! Wow.
Nice. I mean, that's not why we went to London, but it was definitely like something to do. So we
at least that's what she thinks, right? Yeah.
She likes Harry Potter as much as I do. So
okay,
you're perfect for each other. Sascha, are you coming back on next week? Are we having another stream next week? Are we going to show off? Talk about the Strix Scar.
Sure.
Okay, we'll do this again, same time.
We'll keep you updated if you continue watching our streams. But I think next week we'll do this again with the Strix Scar.
Yeah.
Dive deep.
Oh yes, the Scar. So in the chat, like any of you, you guys can let us know if there's anything you want us to show, or I don't know, maybe tweet at Jake, or like if we can look into different details, we could maybe show the motherboard, or like if there's anything in particular you guys want to see, let us know.
Yeah, totally.
For the Harry Potter nerds out there, I am a Gryffindor. I know that's cliche, but I am. I'm just it's who I am. My wife is a Ravenclaw, but my Patronus is a I forget, it's a goshawk, and my wife's Patronus is a different type of hawk. So I thought there's like actual tests you do online.
Is this what I sound like to normal people when I talk about anything?
Probably. Yeah. But the Potter people know. Anyway.
It's like all of a sudden you started speaking another language.
Yeah, I know. That's okay.
And Jake, Demio. Definitely check out Demio. The D&D VR game. It's really good.
Oh, man.
I had a chance to try that, and that's really fun. And you can play it like without VR as well. So you can play together with people. Some are in VR, some are not. It's nice.
That sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out.
I have a headset that I need to dust off. So
I know. Today is the 2-year birthday of Half-Life Alyx, in fact. So the index is about 2 years old.
Oh, yes.
And
I want to revisit that on my
I
Quest
do,
2.
but I don't want to revisit it till I get a new HMD. And I'm still rocking my Vive. And Sascha, we've talked at length about HMDs. And the Vive it's a little dated at this point, and I'd rather revisit Alyx with my great hardware when I have a better HMD.
Yeah. Absolutely, totally agree. You should get a Quest 2. The 128 GB version.
I'm waiting for the next one, whatever the next tier is.
The next index,
either
the top tier.
That's what I want. I would like an index too because I want the index controllers. But I hope that exists.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we're great at rambling here. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for some Elden Ring at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on Twitch. GG's. See you later.